Hello students, in today's class we are going to discuss the mechanism of action of sympathomimetic agents, or we can say adrenergic agonists. So first we will discuss the mechanism of action of alpha agonists or the sympathomimetic agent, which show its action by working on alpha receptors. So the alpha agonist, when they do bind on the alpha receptor, I am talking about here the alpha 1 receptor. When the alpha 1 agonist bind to the alpha 1 receptor, it leads to activation of G protein, which increases the inositol 1,4,5 triphosphate and diacylglycerol production. These are the secondary messengers associated. So when the agonist bind on the alpha 1 receptor, it increases the production of IP3 and DAG, which leads to mobilization of calcium ions from the intracellular organelles, which leads to activation of calmodulin MLCK, that is myosin light chain kinase enzyme, which leads to the phosphorylation of myosin protein, and which then cause the contraction of the muscle. So this is the mechanism for alpha 1 agonists. So what the alpha 1 agonists do, they when they bind on the alpha 1 receptor, they increases the production of IP3, that is inositol 1,4,5 triphosphate and diacylglycerol, which in turn mobilizes the calcium ion from the intracellular organelles, which lead to activation of myosin light chain kinase, which cause the phosphorylation of myosin protein and which cause the contraction of the muscle. So this is the mechanism of action for alpha 1 agonists. In case of alpha 2 receptors, what actually happens, the prejunctional alpha 2 receptors basically inhibit the neuronal calcium channels and also limit the intracellular availability of calcium ion by decreasing cyclic AMP production. So what the prejunctional alpha 2 receptor do, they simply limit the availability of calcium ion and decrease the production of cyclic AMP, which cause the inhibition of transmitter release. They also cause hyperpolarization through activation of potassium channel. In the gut, alpha 2 receptor activation hyperpolarize the cholinergic neurons, which decrease the release of acetylcholine and reduce the tone of muscle or muscle tone. In pancreatic cells, the stimulation of alpha 2 receptor reduces the formation of cyclic AMP, which decrease the insulin release. So this is the mechanism of action for alpha receptors, which we can summarize in alpha 1 and alpha 2. In alpha 1, what the agonist do? The alpha 1 agonist simply increases the production of IP3 and DAG, secondary intermediate, which mobilize the calcium ion from the intracellular organelles, which lead to the activation of myosin light chain kinase enzyme, and which cause the phosphorylation of myosin protein, which cause the contraction of muscle. In case of alpha 2 agonist, when the alpha 2 agonist bind on the alpha 2 receptor, what it does, it simply inhibit the calcium channel and also limit the intracellular availability of calcium by decreasing the cyclic AMP production. So what the alpha 2 agonist do, it basically limit the availability of calcium ion and it decrease the production of cyclic AMP, which cause the inhibition of transmitter release, and it also cause the hyperpolarization through activation of potassium channel. Okay, Now we will discuss about the beta agonists mechanism of action, or beta receptor mediated actions. So what the beta agonist do? When the beta agonist went to the beta receptor, what it does, it simply activates the adenylyl cyclase enzyme, which cause the lysis of ATP into the cyclic AMP, and cyclic AMP then phosphorylate protein kinase, and that initiate a series of reaction. So when the beta agonist bind on the beta receptor, what it simply does, it activates the enzyme adenylyl cyclase, which break the ATP into the cyclic AMP, and then cyclic AMP cause the phosphorylation of protein kinase, which leads to a series of reaction like contraction of cardiac muscles. In case of heart, if we discuss specifically about the heart, or the beta 1 receptor, when the adenylyl cyclase activates after the binding of agonist at the beta 1 receptor, the binding of agonist cause the activation of adenylyl cyclase enzyme, which again cause the breaking of ATP into the AMP or cyclic AMP, which cause the phosphorylation of protein kinase, and in cardiac muscle it cause the phosphorylation of troponin and phospholamban protein, which cause the activation of calcium channel, and due to the activation of calcium channel there is an influx of calcium ions, which cause increased rate and force of contraction into the cardiac muscle. In liver, what the beta receptor do when the agonist bind on it? In liver, the glycogen phosphorylase is activated, which cause the glycogenolysis. Okay. In adipose tissue, what it does, it activate the triglyceride lipase enzyme, which increase the breakdown of lipids from the adipose tissue. So this is the mechanism of action for alpha agonist and beta agonists. Now we will discuss different types of sympathomimetic agents individually. First we will discuss the epinephrine or adrenaline. As you can see on the structure, it belongs to the class of catecholamines or phenylethanolamine. The other name of epinephrine, or the chemical name of epinephrine, is 4,1-hydroxy 2-methylamino ethyl benzene 1,2-diol. It is a directly acting sympathomimetic agent, and it is non-selective in nature. It basically act on both of the receptor. It act on alpha receptor as well as on beta receptor. It is used as sympathomimetic agent as a broncholytic and as anti-asthmatic. It is also used to prevent bleeding during the surgery because it causes the vasoconstriction. It is used as broncholytic and anti-asthmatic because it is also act on beta 2 receptor, which cause the bronchodilation. It is also used in the treatment of heart block, circulatory collapse, and in treatment of anaphylactic shock because it raise the blood pressure. So it is used in the treatment of anaphylactic shock. It is also used in the treatment of open angle glaucoma because it cause mydriasis by activating the alpha 1 receptor. So it cause mydriasis, which is the dilation of pupil, which release the intraocular pressure. So it is also used in the treatment of open angle glaucoma. So the rectus epinephrine is more potent than its sinister form because of the proper configuration of hydroxyl group present on the beta position. Next compound we will discuss is norepinephrine, that is also known as noradrenaline. The chemical name of norepinephrine is 4,2-amino 1 hydroxyethyl benzene 1,2-diol. It is belong to the class of phenylethanolamine or catecholamines derivatives. It is again a directly acting non-selective sympathomimetic agent. It acts on alpha receptor as well as on beta receptor. It is used in the treatment of acute hypotension because it activates the alpha receptor and beta receptor, mainly alpha 1 receptor and alpha 2 receptor and beta 1 receptor mainly. So it causes vasoconstriction which increase the peripheral resistance and lead to increase in blood pressure. So it is used in the treatment of hypotension. It is also used in the treatment of myocardial shock because it has beta 1 agonist property too, so it cause cardiac stimulant. It is used as cardiac stimulant, and due to its vasoconstriction property, it is also used in some local anesthetic solution for dental surgery or dental use. The next compound we will discuss is dopamine. Dopamine again belong to the same class of phenylethanolamine or catecholamines. The chemical name of dopamine is 2,3,4-dihydroxyphenyl 1-amino ethane. Dopamine is used in the treatment of shock. It is again a non-selective directly acting sympathomimetic agent. Dopamine basically used in the treatment of Parkinson's disease. At high doses, the dopamine cause positive ionotropic effect through activation of beta 1 receptor, but only on the high doses, and it also causes the release of norepinephrine. The next compound we will discuss is phenylephrine, that is a selective directly acting sympathomimetic agent. It is mainly act on alpha 1 receptor. The chemical name of phenylephrine is 1,3-hydroxyphenyl 2-methylamino ethanol. It is basically used in the treatment of acute hypotension because it have a potent alpha 1 action which cause vasoconstriction and leads to increase in blood pressure. It is also used as nasal decongestant because it has vasoconstriction property. It is also used as mydriatic agent, same again due to alpha 1 action, and it is also used to prolong the action of local anesthetics. Now we will discuss the synthesis of phenylephrine. So the synthesis of phenylephrine is start from reaction of 3-chloroacetylphenol with methylamine. In this reaction, the methylamine gets combined with this acetyl group and hydrochloric acid is released in this reaction, and then the intermediate undergoes the catalytic reduction and resolved with decamphor sulfonate. We will get our product, that is phenylephrine. The next compound is salbutamol, or we can say it, the other name is albuterol, and it is a very popular anti-asthmatic drug, and it is a directly acting beta 2 agonist or directly acting sympathomimetic agent that is selective for beta 2 receptor. So the chemical name of salbutamol is 4,2-tert-butylamino 1 hydroxyethyl 2 hydroxymethylphenol. As I have told you, it is a selective beta 2 agonist, and the function of beta 2 receptor is bronchodilation. So it is used in the treatment of bronchospasm, asthma, and chronic obstructive pulmonary diseases. It is also used in the treatment of acute hypokalemia, and it is also used to relax uterine smooth muscles to delay premature labor. That is again the function of beta 2 receptors. So now we will discuss the synthesis of salbutamol. The synthesis of salbutamol involves the reaction between the orthohydroxybenzyl alcohol and chloroacetyl chloride. This leads to the chloroacetylation of orthohydroxybenzyl alcohol. Now, this chloroacetylated orthohydroxybenzyl alcohol then get reacted with tert butylamine, which leads to the introduction of this tert butylamino group at the methyl terminal, and then we will do the Marvin-Pondroff reduction of this intermediate, and we will get our product, that is salbutamol. The next compound we will discuss is methyl dopa. So methyl dopa basically used to decrease the sympathetic outflow and lower blood pressure. It is mainly act through the alpha 2 receptors in the CNS. It acts as a agonist for the alpha 2 receptor in the CNS, and when the alpha 2 receptors in the CNS get stimulated by its agonist, they reduce the sympathetic flow in the body, and when the sympathetic flow in the body get reduced, the peripheral resistance of the body get reduced. As a result, blood pressure is reduced. The next compound we will discuss is clonidine. So clonidine again is a directly acting alpha 2 receptor agonist. It is used in the treatment of hypertension. It has similar mechanism of action. It crosses the blood-brain barrier and activates the alpha 2 receptor present in the CNS, which leads to the decrease in the sympathetic flow, which reduce the level of norepinephrine and epinephrine in the body. And as the level of sympathetic flow decrease in the body, the peripheral resistance of the body get reduced, and the blood pressure is reduced. The chemical name of clonidine is N26 dichlorophenyl 4,5 dihydro 1H imidazole 2 amine. So as you can see, basically it is a imidazoline derivative that is selective for alpha 2 receptor. So it is used in the treatment of hypertension, and in combination with methylphenidate it is also used in the treatment of attention hyperactivity disorder, that is ADHD. The next compound we will discuss is dobutamine. Dobutamine is a cardiac stimulant. So what is the chemical name of dobutamine? It is N1-methyl 3,4-hydroxyphenyl propyl 3,4 dihydroxyphenyl ethylamine. So it is again a directly acting sympathomimetic agent. It is a directly acting sympathomimetic agent, and it acts as a cardiac stimulant. So because it acts as a cardiac stimulant, so it is used in the treatment of heart failure. It is a non-selective sympathomimetic agent. It act on alpha receptor as well as on beta receptor, and due to its cardiac stimulant property, it is used in the treatment of congestive heart failure, where it is administered as IV infusion or intravenous infusion. So that is dobutamine, that is used as a cardiac stimulant in the treatment of CHF or heart failure. The next compound in the list is nafazoline. That is a very popular nasal decongestant, and this belongs to the class of imidazoline derivative. It is again a directly acting sympathomimetic agent, and it is a alpha agonist. So the main use, as I have told you, it is used as a nasal decongestant and as ophthalmic decongestant due to its vasoconstriction property, and it is used topically. It is used in the form of eye drops or ear drops. So the chemical name of nafazoline is 2-naphthalene 1-ill methyl 4,5 dihydro 1-H imidazole. So the main use of nafazoline is nasal decongestant. Due to its alpha agonistic action, it shows vasoconstriction property, which makes it a very popular nasal decongestant product or ophthalmic decongestant product. The other compound in the category is oxymetazoline, that which belongs to the same imidazoline derivative category from which the nafazoline comes. So it's again a directly acting sympathomimetic agent, that is alpha agonist in nature selectively, and it is used as ophthalmic decongestant and as nasal decongestant due to its alpha agonistic property, which makes it a which provide it a vasoconstrictive effect, and it is used as nasal decongestant. The next compound in the category is xylometazoline, that again belong to the class of imidazoline derivatives. The chemical name of xylometazoline is 2,4-tert-butyl 2,6-dimethyl-benzyl 4,5-dihydro-1-H imidazole, and it is again a direct acting sympathomimetic agent which is alpha agonist in nature, and it has same use as nafazoline and oxymetazoline, that is it is used as ophthalmic decongestant and nasal decongestant. The next compound in the category is isoprenaline or isoproterenol, that is a beta agonist or selective beta agonist. It is again a directly acting sympathomimetic agent. The chemical name of isoprenaline or isoproterenol is 1,3,4-dihydroxyphenyl 2-isopropyl amino ethanol. Because of its beta agonistic action or beta agonistic property, it is used in the treatment of bronchospasm, because it activates beta 2 receptor, so it causes bronchodilation. So it is used in the treatment of bronchospasm associated with bronchial asthma, and sometimes it is used in the treatment of heart block, because it has agonistic property on beta receptor. It has agonistic property on beta 1 receptor as well as on beta 2 receptor. So it is also used in the treatment of heart block sometimes. The next compound in the category comes is terbutaline. The chemical name of terbutaline is 5,2-tert-butyl amino 1-hydroxyethyl benzene 1,3-diol. It is a selective beta 2 agonist, and it is a directly acting sympathomimetic agent. Due to its beta 2 agonistic property, it causes bronchodilation, so it is used as a bronchodilator and used in the treatment of asthma. Next compound in the category comes is bitalterol. So the chemical name of this compound is 4,1-hydroxy 2-tert-butyl amino ethyl 2,4-methyl benzoyl oxyphenyl 4-methyl benzoate. So basically it is a prodrug, and in the body it is converted into a beta 2 selective agonist, that is colterol. and because it is beta 2 selective in nature, so it is used in the treatment of bronchial asthma, and the mode of administration will be inhalation. So that is all about the directly acting sympathomimetic agents. Now we will discuss about the indirectly acting agents. Indirectly acting agents are those agents which do not have agonistic property for adrenergic receptor, but what they do, they increase the release of epinephrine or norepinephrine from the presynaptic neurons. So they do increase the release of catecholamines from the neurons, but they do not directly act on the adrenergic receptor. So the first compound in indirectly acting sympathomimetic agent is hydroxyamphetamine. So you can see the structure of hydroxyamphetamine, and the chemical name of hydroxyamphetamine is 3,2-aminopropylphenol. So as I have told you, it is a indirectly acting sympathomimetic drug. What it does, it causes the mydriasis, that is the dilation of pupil. So it is used in eye examination for diagnostic purpose and for surgical procedure. Sometimes it is used in combination with cholinergic blocking agent to produce a profound mydriatic effect. The next compound in the list of indirectly acting sympathomimetic agent is pseudoephedrine. The chemical name of pseudoephedrine is 1R2S. This 1R and 2S representing the configuration of two chiral carbons or two chiral centers. That is, the full name is 1R2S 2-methylamino 1-phenyl propane 1-ol, and it belongs to the class of indirectly acting sympathomimetic agents. It is mainly used as a nasal decongestant, and it is a diastereomer of ephedrine. Next compound in the category is propyl hexedrine. So the chemical name of propyl hexedrine is 1-cyclohexyl 2-methylamino-propane. It is again used as a nasal decongestant, and because it is used as a nasal decongestant, definitely it will show the local vasoconstrictive action on nasal mucosa. That's why it is used as nasal decongestant. Now we will discuss the sympathomimetic agents with mixed mechanism. So these are the agents which have agonistic action on adrenergic receptor, as well as they increase the release of norepinephrine or epinephrine from the neurons. Means they have both kind of mechanism of action. They directly act on receptor, as well as they increase the release of catecholamines from the neurons. So the first compound in this category is ephedrine, a very popular compound. So the chemical name of ephedrine is 2-methylamino 1-phenyl propane 1-ol. So it belongs to the class of mixed action sympathomimetic agent, and it is used in the treatment of allergic disorders, cold, hypotensive state, necrolepsy. It is also used as nasal decongestant, and it is also used as bronchodilator and cardiac stimulant. The next compound in the category of mixed action sympathomimetic agent is metaraminol. So the chemical name of the compound is 3,2-amino 1-hydroxypropylphenol. It is a mixed action sympathomimetic agent, and it is used in the treatment of acute hypotension, and it is used intravenously. So this is the video lecture on mechanism of action of sympathomimetic agents, or the mechanism of action of alpha agonist or beta agonist. And in this lecture we have discussed different sympathomimetic agents belong to the class of directly acting sympathomimetic agents, indirectly acting sympathomimetic agents, and mixed action sympathomimetic agents. In this class we also have discussed some important synthesis like salbutamol, phenylephrine, that is of quite importance for exam point of view. So I hope you like the lecture. Thank you.